Run me up.
Whoa, look, it's time to go viral. I'm homicidal, I'm killing all my rivals. I'm the man, shit, I put that on the Bible. I Spotify my target, cause you know I got the title. Hey, I'm a Mac 2. I told baby shake that ass like she Apple. She said it's real, so she got my name tattooed. House full, so I hit it in the back room. Whoa, baby said she needed now, peep the urgency. I want a little Kim before she had the surgery. Leg spread on that hardcore poster. She love twerking, she just do it for the coach. Big dog, bull massive. 6 tray Chevrolet, I'm classic. All these niggas mad at me, that's tragic. The main bitch in the bed, that's graphic. Yeah, we about to go viral. Hey.
What's the deal, people? It's your boy, the one and only, your host that do the most, Mr. Viral himself, aka the villain, because they hate me for my opinion. Welcome back to another episode of the Viral Way Podcast. Make sure you share, like, subscribe to the channel. You already know the deal by now. As always, I got my co-host with me, the Messiah, here to lead the way, like my bro Messiah say.
Easy call.
Come on, man. We got a special guest in the building today. Y'all probably done seen her around, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Why don't you go ahead and let the people know who you is?
Hi, my name is Nika. I'm Persian, 23 years old, and I'm super thrilled to be on the show. I like to do a lot of singing, modeling. I go to school, work, so a lot of different areas that I'm interested in, and I'm glad we got to meet and have some conversations.
Yeah, we appreciate you popping out for sure.
Yeah.
You traveled a long way to get out here. Where'd you come from?
I came from Dallas, so that's where I currently live, but it's spring break and I thought why not kind of explore around, and it's a good like networking opportunity for work and stuff, so it's been great.
Okay, welcome to the city. Welcome to the city. How you liking it out here so far?
It's amazing. Like honestly, the beaches and the perfect weather, it's really cool, but also I don't want to pay the beach tax or the perfect weather tax. So I'm like, okay, like I'll come here, travel, like have fun here, and then like go back to Dallas.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely not. It's definitely not for the weak, man. The weak of the pockets, I should say. They taxing us for everything out here.
right.
I just was in
sure.
Dallas a few months ago too. Dallas is a vibe. Dallas is cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
chill.
cool, yeah.
But yeah, I seen you around social media when I started digging in your story. I'm like, damn, this is kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting it from what I seen and what I heard. I'm like, she sound intelligent. She's very well spoken. Um, just to give the people a little background on your story, you caught a case a while ago.
Yes, I was involved in a criminal matter, not closed. But essentially, I was going through like a mental health episode and wasn't taking my medication properly. I was previously diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. And I like that you mentioned like that when we talked on the phone, you thought I was very well spoken because I've generally done really good in life. Like, I graduated my high school third in my class, gave the commencement speech, and like had a 4.0 in Berkeley. So going from that to like being involved in like a criminal case with like charges like attempted murder was definitely not what I was expecting in a million years. But life does happen, and sometimes we make mistakes, and some mistakes lead to consequences, and you have to face those consequences.
You went down for some hot shit.
Yeah. Hey, she said attempt murder, man. Hold on. Hey, look. Hey, Solomon, pull that story up. Let's just give the people a little background. We ain't gonna go too crazy on it, but for the people who may be out the loop of what's going on,
All right, let me find it.
maybe she could break it down for us while you look for that. So from what I was reading, you had, was this Tinder or an online date?
It was a dating website, and I was just really feeling down and lonely, plus like hallucinations, not taking my medications. I was just like, you know what? Let's just go on a date, see where it goes. And, going from that, it just kind of happened in a bad manner in that night. I never had like bad intentions to start out with, but I was definitely not in a good mindset to start that night or that date.
Okay, now the only reason I'm even touching on this is because from what I read, you beat the case, you skated, got probation, so it's kind of like a dead issue almost. Because if it was an open case, we wouldn't even be touching on it. But from what I was reading, you kind of got probation, correct?
I did get probation, but for clarification purposes, like, we can talk about it more like our justice system and whatnot, but I definitely don't think it's right to say like you got away with it or like you beat the case because I am like convicted felon. That is on my record.
You got away.
No, you definitely got away. You sit you stab somebody and you sitting on this couch with probation. I would say you got away.
If we would have been somebody like
People,
me, you'd have been
you can have your
stretched out.
opinion. That's fine. Like,
Because we probably would have never seen the light of day
You
again.
don't feel like you got away?
I don't think there's many different cases that you can look up that, had different factors. Every case is unique. Every state is unique. Every county that you commit the crime is like different. So it really does depend on the circumstances. And I came from a background that had no criminal record, was really good in school, did a lot of volunteer work, and there was a lot of evidence that I never had true intentions to do any harm that night. And given that I've made significant improvements during my probation, such as like being on my
Oh.
medications and whatnot, I
I
think
didn't even
that
see
definitely.
that part. I didn't see.
See,
While y'all had sex, you stabbed him.
That's deep.
That's
See, but even then, to invite somebody off POF, y'all be careful about them dating sites.
hey, look, this the cold part. They always say it's the guys. You got to be careful out here. So, but you said it was like a hallucination because I seen like an interrogation video. It said it was get back for some Iranian warlord or something like that. I don't know if Solomon got the video, but you said you felt like an American had to die because somebody over there died. That was a part of the hallucination, or what was that?
Yeah, I definitely did say that. There's a video of it. There's a record of it. I did say I did it for revenge, but that is also in consideration that I wasn't in the right state of mind and wasn't feeling that great. And when you look different studies or different circumstances of people having bipolar or schizophrenia, they sometimes say things that are totally out of the ordinary or totally out of their like beliefs just because of the way the mind works and the hallucinations that are going on. So, for clarifications, I do not support the person that I named for revenge that night, and I try to be very clear of it. But you know how people are, and sometimes even if I say that I don't support him, people are like, "Oh, you definitely do." I'm like, "No, I don't." But it's just how life is sometimes, and I try to be very like cognizant about it and speak about it, but people are gonna have their opinions. And at the end of the day, what I can do is just work on myself and have a good life. If they're not gonna change their opinion and they're gonna keep hating on me, that's fine. Face your energy. That's my vibes.
Let me get the numbers to your lawyer. I don't know who that man was, but cuz did his Dougie.
Hey, we got a couple homies that need to be released from that Bing, man. Like he said, who was your lawyer? Tap in. He did his thing. That was in Vegas?
Yes.
Okay, maybe they got different type of laws in Vegas than California. It may be a little more lenient out there.
But it's different, and like different judges, different like rules and whatnot. And I know you mentioned lawyers, and 100% I admit it. Yes, my case like ended the way it did because of my representation as well, in consideration of the other factors. But also, like, I was in the county jail, and I seen like people who didn't have like the kind of representation that I did. So I'm very grateful for coming from that place because I would have like roommates that are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm trying to like call my attorney," like, and I'm not sure what the term was, but it wasn't like a privately hired attorney.
Yeah,
It was
public pretender.
N-
That's what we call
Yeah, we
it.
call them public pretenders because they pretend
Yeah.
to represent you, but really the whole goal is to get you to take a deal.
Right. So the public defenders, and nothing against them. I know their workload is so large and they get so many cases. It's kind of hard. Like any private attorney in that sort of caseload would also feel overwhelmed. But, I don't know what the solution is, but I just feel really grateful because I was able to get that kind of representation to be able to call my attorney and have him answer up in that moment, or just being able to be persistent on the case matters.
Have you talked to dudes since the case? Like, have y'all spoke?
We have not. We did see each other during the last court hearing for sentencing, and I was able to like talk more about how the case has played out and the things I've done during that house arrest period. And I apologize for my actions. And he also accepted like what happened. And you know, I understand I would never want to be in his shoes, and 100% something I did was wrong. But I am like, I feel this weight off my shoulder that it was after the case has ended. He like, I guess like kind of understood my situation, and I don't want to put words in what he said, but if you want to look it up, the video, you can kind of see that it was kind of like more of like the way I see it, at least a mutual kind of understanding, and it was like a good ending point. So I don't want to cause any harm or like talk more about it to him. So that's the way like he requested it as well.
How did it make you feel once you realized, like, after all that transpired, or you came back to what to normal, I should say?
Like, are you asking like right after release of
Was
jail
you
or
in was you
after
in
in
shock? Did you even realize what you was doing, or did it just after you like you it was
right?
normal, or did you feel like bad after finding out?
Yeah, so when I got into custody, even like checking in to the county jail and stuff, I was still like not in a good state of mind. I was literally thinking and hallucinating, oh, this is the Orange is the New Black. Like they're pulling at the cameras and this is a show. So, like, I really didn't think that I did what I did until
Thought you was on
like.
punked or something. You was waiting for the bloopers to come out. Like, what
Right.
you
Yeah, because
mean?
that's what I mean. Like, because you say you have hallucinations and stuff. So is it like some people get angry and then they black out and then don't know what they did. So is that how the hallucinations work, or do you do?
It's very person to person specific. Everybody has different ways they experience like hallucinations or delusions. But the important thing is like the medications they give you, like it's not like ADD medication where you take it in like hours and like 1-2 hours and it kicks in. It takes few weeks for those medications for bipolar to actually get into effect. So I didn't really realize what was going on or what I did until weeks into it, which is why I had to do like competency hearing because the judge was like, I don't even know, like, is she competent to even stand trial? So, going through that experience, then after I realized what had happened and I was in shock, I was crying for nights. And, I'm not saying this to get pity. I'm just saying, like, it took a while for me to realize what I actually had done. So afterwards, yes, I did feel really bad. And I still to this day, I'm still really upset about it because not only did I cause a harm to another person, but also, it was reflected really bad on the Persian community because the way the politics work between Iran and the US and the way some Persians like to represent themselves separately from the government and whatnot, it was kind of like a backlash on that, backlash in my family, friends, relatives. So overall, it was a significant impact in my life.
Let me just take a brief intermission. Fellas, stop thinking with your dick so much. This ain't a shot at you, right? This is just to the fellas. Because when I was reading, he got stabbed in the neck during sex. You can't be that much in the zone that you don't notice someone grab a knife to bang you in the neck as you putting in work. Like, bro, you gotta really be aware of your surroundings. Like, I know the fellas, sex is cool and all that, but especially if you meeting people you don't know off dating apps, be aware of your surroundings, man. Check the room. She coming in with a bag. Check the bag. Like, bro, really stay on your tip because it's always one-sided when giving advice about dating apps. Like, hey, you got to watch these guys. There's a lot of serial killers, men this, men that, men this, men that. But the stories about the women go unheard. It gets brushed under the rug. So it is danger on both sides of the fence when you're dealing with a stranger. So be more aware and don't just be so quick to think with your dick. Like, us, I'm pulling up with the gold wrapper and the blick. So it's going to be some shit to try to stab me. But
They already gonna know.
yeah, facts. But yeah, how old was you then?
Sorry?
How old were you then when that happened?
I was 21.
You was 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
She got a great deal.
Nah, fact that man, I really want to know her lawyer. I damn near want to shout the lawyer out. That's crazy.
People that done fought cases for 7 years with that type of shit, like, and never even been to trial yet. That's crazy.
That's dope. You definitely not to say
Yeah,
your
like the
felony
lawyer
ain't nothing.
plays a part for sure, like 100%, but I think there's like very like a lot of different factors that play into it too. And I
Do you
wish
think
there was
being
a
a
way
female?
to.
You think being a female got you some leniency?
I don't because
You don't?
I don't,
Not at all.
not at all.
Do
Why
you
you-
think being Persian got you some leniency?
Do you think being a Persian female got you leniency?
I don't think so. I think there's different factors that play into it. Obviously, like there's certain injustices like in the justice system, but I think when you look at my case in more detail, if there was a guy who had a clean record, who like was doing well in school, volunteering, and was able to do those significant improvements, And also for clarification, yes, I did say on camera that I stabbed him, but when you look at the medical records, he didn't go to the hospital, and it was the kind of injury that was happened that night. It wasn't significant enough for it to be like hospitalized. So I think like the amount of injury plus the other factors that played into my case, I think that does play a role.
So it really wasn't life threatening for him. Is basically what you're saying.
That's not essentially what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if for scenario purposes, if somebody stopped somebody and it was to the point that the artery was broken, or it was like to the point that they would have to go to a hospital, that would be significantly different than my specific case.
Okay, now I don't want you to feel like you on trial. You ain't on trial again. We just, for the audience that's just now learning about this, it's just, just trying to give them some details and some background, because as we know, the judicial system out here in the US, it is skewed. It has tons of problems, and race does play a factor. I guess that's why he was asking, do you think it's because you are Persian and a female? Because violence against men, when it comes from women, tends to be overlooked in the court system. Whereas if that was a guy who would have stabbed a female he met on a dating app, I don't think he would have got probation. Whether the injury was significant or not, I think the punishment would have been a lot more severe. It's taken a lot more serious when it's men exuding violence on a female than female exuding violence on a man, even with a weapon like a knife. It's kind of like, oh, he didn't go to the hospital, wasn't dangerous. But I mean, dude could have lost his life. Not to make you feel bad. I'm just the facts of the case. It seems like with women, it's brushed under the rug. With men, not so much.
Even if he was a great student and had the grades like you were saying, we still feel like it would be something where it would be a lot rougher on a man than a woman. And nothing against you. It has nothing to do with you. It's just
Yeah.
that's the way the system
Yeah, this
works.
is
Just-
you ain't on trial at all.
Yeah,
This
And
is
we
just for the
also, like,
this for the audience.
And we
Right.
definitely not judging you, because the only thing I know is they're gonna be like, oh, why y'all didn't ask her this question, or why y'all didn't do this or do that. So we're
Right.
not trying to get too much into detail about your stuff.
No, I'm
But-
down for a
But yeah,
conversation.
but just
Why not?
enough so people
Well,
can understand.
okay, for
understand
sure.
you a little more.
Because I know
Yeah.
I didn't have no record, no nothing, and I went down for a quote unquote nonviolent crime. My first go around, I went to prison. You know what I'm saying? And nobody got hurt, nobody got harmed.
What county was it in?
Right here in Long Beach.
Right. Every county is different, and I need to look up like the specific name of the case, but especially in the court that I was in, or the county, I believe I read a case about there was a woman that sued and said that a woman tend to get harsher punishments in that specific court, like county or state. I would have to double check it, but it's very dependent on specific courts, specific areas, specific judges. So it really is context specific. Maybe in LA that is an issue, or maybe it's an issue in certain states, but I know specifically in the area that I was in, it was actually the opposite.
Yeah, it's just the pictures they paint. Like he was just saying, far as when it comes to men, if a man ever invited a woman to his house, or I don't know how the case exactly went, but in those things transpired, the intentions of that man,
They would have threw the book
yeah,
at him.
they would have crucified him. Like you did this for her to come over here, and you know what I mean. She couldn't defend herself, or whatever the case is. They would have painted so many pictures. But I do understand, like you say, murder cases is probably like 7, 8 different ways to really beat those if your lawyer know what they doing. So I just think you had a good lawyer, you know what I mean, and you blessed at the end of the day to not be.
Yeah, I'm
Under the
100%
jail, yeah.
grateful of that. And I think we haven't talked much about it, but I think mental health also played a major role in this, because I was seen by not only the many different doctors from my attorneys, and also doctors from like the state or slash like the district attorneys doctors, and they both like they all concluded the same
Same
thing,
evaluation.
like same evaluation, same diagnosis. So
Do you currently still see doctors for this, or are you currently still on these meds, or have you been diagnosed that like for life? I don't know how that works as far as the
Right.
bipolar thing. Is it like a time span, like okay, every 5 years you get checked up, or annually, or how does that diagnosis
I'm still
work?
seeing the same doctors. I'm seeing a therapist weekly and also a psychiatrist. I'm still on the same medication. The dosages have changed. So because I've been stable, I've been like going to school, working, and just on a good path right now. So For specific diagnoses for bipolar and schizophrenia, obviously I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me, but it is kind of like evaluated through like the past 23 years that I've lived. So it is kind of like a diagnosis that you have for life, and you just have to do management on it, which is what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so long as you on the meds, you good. But if you was to shade off, you start having the hallucinations again, or like how does that work? Do the meds actually stop the hallucinations from coming, or can you
Right.
like shade off of the meds eventually, or did they like no, you got to take these forever type of thing?
It's kind of, I'm not a doctor, but I do think you would have to stay on it. I'm on the lowest dose that you would be on that kind of medication for bipolar and schizophrenia. So, you know, I've been like very persistent on my medication, and I regularly get drug tested for, drugs, but also to make sure there's enough like content of like the prescription that I'm supposed to be taking in as well.
Now, mental health is big. We've done a full episode on mental health, the importance of mental health, and the effects that it has in today's society, where we're seeing a skyrocket of suicides and people stressed out. I mean, even young as 5 years old taking their own lives due to mental health issues. So mental health is a big thing in the community that goes unchecked and it gets ignored. So we like to highlight the importance of having strong mental health. How has this case and that whole background with the bipolar thing, how has that affected your dating life since then? Like,
Uh,
does that come up often, or is that kind of like they don't know about it, or do you tell them about it? Like, hey, by the way, when you meet people, like, how does that work?
I've been kind of like a little bit off the dating scene just a little bit, because also I'm trying to be like cautious because I don't want to say too early for them to like not even want to know me, but I also don't want to say too late and it's like, oh, you were hiding. So honestly, I'm trying to figure it out on my end. I haven't been dating that consistently since I've been released or had my case closed. So that is like something I would have to learn. If you have advice, I would love to hear it.
I mean, for
Like, what
me,
would you do if this was your?
man, that's tough because I couldn't date no one that was bipolar or schizophrenic, and especially somebody who done stabbed somebody off a trip. Because in the back of my mind, it's like, damn, she get off her meds, she might try to bang me out of my sleep or something. But it is hope because you're not the only one who's dealing with these things. So I would more so try and find people that's in the community that's dealing with these things who have already found success
Right, that makes
dealing with the
sense.
same type of
Yeah.
thing, and more so get advice from them than just an everyday average Joe who has no idea about any of it. It's like, okay, you done already lived it, you live in proof, and you're succeeding. What steps did you take? What advice could you give me? I would
Right.
more so reach out.
I guess I'll reframe my question. What I was asking is like if like just for purposes of question.
Don't come right out and say it.
Okay.
No, no, say what you're gonna say. My bad about cutting you off.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Like if you had bipolar and schizophrenia and had this case kind of like similarly happen to you, like what would you do going on like as far as like the dating scene goes? Like I guess that was more like my question.
I wouldn't be coming right out just telling people like, yeah, every woman I met, yeah, I stabbed a woman. I feel like they gonna get on, they gonna go
Is that
show
gonna
ass
be my
quick
new
and they gonna-
bio? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
But you might attract some crazy people
Oh,
that like
God.
that shit. Because there's a lot of people that like the toxic shit. But I just think more so the best thing probably to do is if you're getting to know somebody is to let them know that you do have to require to take meds or certain things. So in that way
right.
you ain't just slipping up. Or if they choose to take that route with you, they can keep you on your shit to keep you balanced. But other than that, I don't really see nobody just you coming out. Yeah, I stabbed this man for this, and that, and they want to be cool with that.
Right.
So you never know though. Some people don't care, and a lot of people think what they dick too. So they might just see you and be like, man, fuck all that. It didn't happen to me. So you never
Right.
know.
Yeah,
I
me,
get it.
me,
Yeah.
me personally, I think as far as like the meds and the bipolar thing, yeah, you kind of got to be upfront about that, like day one type shit. Because I'll be pissed if I went on the third date and it's like, hey, by the way, I'm bipolar schizophrenic. Like, what? You kind of got to put that out there on Front Street, and then you know what I'm saying. Then okay, if they proceed with it, this person genuinely is rocking with you. They genuinely fuck with you. Now, as far as the stabbing thing, I would let them get to know me first. Like, what I'm not get super invested, but just see the way I am now. Because obviously I'm a different person. I done grown, I done matured. I'm on meds now. I'm going to see therapists and blah, blah, blah. once they get to see my true personality, and like I said, when I talk to him, like, damn, she's well spoken, she sounds smart, she's real coherent. Then I would like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but blah blah blah, and then see how it goes from there, because it's gonna come up eventually at some point. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
just if I
That
was in
makes
your
sense, yeah.
shoes, I would take that route with it.
And
Yeah.
you ain't the first person to do something like that to somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And there's also like, I'm sorry to
nah,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off,
So
but
nah, yeah, go ahead.
like there's different like maybe you're trans or maybe you have like a specific disability, like disclosing like that, like different kind of information that might be like different in the dating scene. I think it plays a part to like, I guess everybody's like preferences or like knowing things up first or just waiting a little bit to get to know you better, or but what is y'all's thoughts on that?
Now, if you trans, you got to tell somebody day
You
one.
said a trend?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
That's a dangerous game, because I know they do it, and I ain't gonna tell them. And
man.
listen,
I-
you gonna lose your life playing that game.
I read a story about a dude that happened, and the girl, after whatever the thing was, told him after they gonna kill me for that, but he went back in the hotel and killed it. So it was just like, you need to be upfront with that. You hiding you a trend, that somebody will come back and look for you for that. I think anybody,
Right.
that should be one of the first things you let them know. You know what I mean?
That's something that's like not being a trans, because I know they're gonna say, oh, they're gonna kill me for that. But that's disgusting, hiding that. Now, if you trans, whatever the case, I'm not judging, bro. Live your life. I don't care how you choose to live your life. But to hide that from somebody and engage in, because they're engaging in sexual activities with dudes.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm on my period, but I'll give you a blowjob. Then a week later, you find out this is a fucking man that just sucked your dick. So you know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah.
I mean, how else is a man supposed to react other than to come kill you at that point?
That's a dangerous game to play with a straight man, for sure.
So
That's dangerous.
to all the trans out there, man, you got to be upfront. We in a whole new era. You'd be surprised how many dudes like trans now. Like, it's damn near becoming a normal thing. I'm seeing dudes on podcasts with trans girlfriends, and they're like, shit, I'm straight. I view her as a woman. And they look like us. Like, they look like us. Like, you would
Right.
never
could do,
guess
like,
it.
voice surgery, and like it could be like so like hard to tell. And 100% I agree on that point. But the reason why I brought it up was because like on issues in trans, I also do agree like that should be like first thing. But also like bipolar or schizophrenia, it might be like different, or I don't know, people might have different preferences or telling like story of like past activities,
They might
kind of
fuck
frame
around.
it that way. But
You got to down there check
know?
IDs and all type of shit nowadays out here. Like, was you born a motherfucking woman? Like, that's wild.
Now, the trans shit is crazy, but as far as the bipolar schizophrenia, I mean, have you ever looked into seeing if they had like a dating website or like a dating app for people that have that? Like, I know they have dating apps for certain things. Like,
I haven't looked, but also I don't know. I'm not trying to be really on dating apps.
oh, you know what?
Yeah, he crazy.
Hold on. I don't know why I just said that. I forgot about the whole shit already.
Would you date somebody with the same symptoms? You think that'd be healthy?
I mean, I don't like look at someone and be like, okay, like, do you have diagnoses or not? Should I like? That's not my deciding factor.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm open to it, but I think there's like different like factors that I think are more important. Like, I don't know.
Do you think you would feel more comfortable with someone who has similar disabilities, or I don't even know if you call it a disability, or issues? Like somebody that was schizophrenic or bipolar, like, would you feel more comfortable dating them than
I don't think
guy
it
who
would make
wasn't?
me less or more comfortable. Like, I don't know. I'm just confident as a person. So like I'm open to dating someone that has similar diagnoses as me, but it doesn't like affect me in a way like, oh my gosh, like I feel more confident because we have the same issues or deal with the same kind of stuff. But I think it'll be like an interesting relationship for sure. But also like I don't know, I like having like like from my past dating history, I like having like kind of dating my opposite in a way, like having different interests and stuff.
Right.
This way it makes it more complex.
opposites attract?
But that's just my opinion on it.
Let me ask you this: do you view the dating when you go view the dating scene? Do you go in with certain criteria for a man, or are you just like open to whatever type of shit, or is it a certain type of man that you're looking for?
I think this is not gonna give you a lot more information, but I go with the vibe.
So it don't
So-
matter.
Connection.
No,
Yeah.
it's about you could be like I do prefer taller men, but you could be like not as tall, but have an awesome personality, be super fit in the gym, and I would prefer you over someone who's, I guess, taller in my preference, but like is shy and doesn't talk a lot. So, there's preferences I have. I like someone who's taller, has personality, is successful, but there's could be like it could be different scenarios where there could be exceptions if they're better in different categories or not, if that makes sense. But and plus, like the vibe of the way we talk, I think, is a major factor because that kind of like not that it puts a blind like love is blind, not in that way, but it just kind of like smoothing things out if they are not meeting those perfect criteria that I'm looking for.
Right.
I don't believe love is blind. I believe love will make you blind, but I don't know about love itself being blind. But I only ask you that because in 2024, when we talk to women, it's like, man, they just have these expectations of men that's not realistic per se, especially for the type of woman they are. So I'm always curious, like, well, what's your standards or what type of guy you looking for? And your case being unique with you having the bipolar background and the
Right.
case.
I
I,
mean, honestly, for me and any other women like watching, 100% have high standards. Like, I think it's good to have motivation to seek a high value man, but also it depends like how old you are. Like I'm 23. Obviously, like it's different in different life stages. Like I want to get married in the future, but I'm not looking to get married like in the next few years.
so hold
So
on, you're looking for
I'm
a high
open
value
to
man?
sorry?
You said you're looking for a high value man?
I not current like I guess I am in a way, but also I'm 23, so I'm not looking to get married like in the next like year or so. So I think it's good for women who are especially young to have like high standards and high evaluations to kind of set the bar high. And when it comes to the life different stages or whenever me or like someone who's trying to get married is looking to settle down, then that's where you can like kind of do more appropriate evaluation because in 5 years I could have a PhD, I could have been really successful in my job, or it could be like a lot different than what I am today. So although some might say, "Oh my gosh, you have such high standards," I'm like, "Well, I have high hopes and dreams as well to match those standards." You know?
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with I think everybody should strive for the best and for the highest standards that they think they should be at, but at the same time, I think it's a borderline between being realistic and having high standards. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women have these outrageous high standards, but not realistic about they selves looking
I
in the
think
mirror.
guys are just upset when they get rejected.
Nah, it's crazy because a lot of y'all women will, how can I say, like, a woman might not like her own body in the mirror, but then they'll be mad when if a dude tell her to work out or do certain things because she wants him to accept something that she don't even like herself. So that's what I mean, unrealistic sometimes. You want a man that's super fit, but you won't go to the gym. So them is different things in my mind that I say.
Honestly, like, even in that scenario, like, I've been through different, like, stages of weight and, because of the case going on and, like, just being in a lot of stress, I did gain a lot of weight, but I did lose 20 pounds in the past, 2.5 months. So even if in your scenario, there's somebody who is overweight and is looking to date somebody that is like, a guy that's, like, six pack, I don't think that's a unrealistic expectation because
Unrealistic.
you can make it in 4 or 5 months, you can make significant difference in the
But you
gym.
missed the whole point of what I'm saying is that they're not working out. They're not doing that. Of course, everybody can
Right.
get to those points, but like he just said, 9 times out of 10, that fit man is gonna go after a fit woman.
No, I'm saying even that just sounds crazy to me. Somebody that's not fit demanding someone that's fit because they have the opportunity to get fit, or you saying that they can eventually get fit, but right now in the body they're in, they're not currently fit,
If they're
and you
currently
don't
not
think
fit
that's
and have goals and, like, plans to go work out or on their fitness journey, I don't think it's an unrealistic expectation to want to have, like, a guy with a really good physique.
okay? So let's flip that. So if there's a man, he's broke, he ain't got a dime to his name, but he has goals to one day be wealthy and be high value, should he be able to go out and get a high value woman, a woman that's at the top of the totem pole, the top of the crop, a
If he's
certified
working on
dime?
it, if he's working on it, 100%. Look at Elon Musk. He like when he look at his background, like he is the most richest man on earth. But when you look at where he came from and like his background and his family, it wasn't like he wasn't a born a millionaire. So if in his like I guess not the richest man's stage, he was looking for a high value woman, it wasn't be unrealistic because obviously he had all these companies and all these plans to become successful,
Would
and he did.
would
So
you marry a man that was broke, but he had a plan written out saying, okay, this is my plan. One day I'm gonna be this high value guy that you're looking for. But right now, I don't have shit. I'm dead broke. You saying you would marry him off of him just
if
having
I'm
goals?
seeing the amount of time, like the amount of level of work he's doing, and if I'm truly like in love with him, why not?
See, but you going
I,
too deep
I'm
because
calling cap.
nah, but even then she going too deep because if we talking about from the beginning stages, if you already have a demands as a woman, that means you have demands before you even got to know the fat man or whoever he was. So if your demands as a woman was already he needs to be fit, he needs to be this, and I'm not that, then you're not even gonna get to that stage of even being in love with him. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't.
You're not gonna fall in love with a guy you're not attracted to. So you're gonna come in with demands and expectations of the man you're looking for. The guy in front of you doesn't meet any of that. You're not even gonna give him the time of day
Attraction
to
isn't
fall in
always
love with him.
physical.
But if you already have a demand of what you see, what you think you want, you're not even you're gonna curve him off the dribble. The same way he talk about from the broke perspective. The woman is gonna curve the broke man. She's not even gonna give him the chance to fall in love with him 9 times out of 10.
Right.
Now it's exceptions to every rule because they always gonna say, well, I met my husband, he didn't have shit. But 9 times out of 10, most women that demands like that are not gonna give him the time of day.
Right. Like I guess like I'm not like seeking like a demand list. Like you should be exactly 6'2" or over. So I think for women that do have like a specific checklist or like have demands per se for dating, yeah, that would be different. But again, just from my perspective and my opinion, I think there's different circumstances in which you can have ambitions and goals, and if you're really working hard on it, you should be able to reach for the higher and like higher value man or woman in your dating scene as well.
Okay, the fact that you use Elon Musk as an example to me is crazy. Women always use the
best
exception
one,
and
yeah.
not the general. Because if we just look at the world, how many Elon Musk are there compared to average guys? So to tell a woman to shoot for Elon Musk is almost a guaranteed fail. It's almost guaranteed it's going to end in failure because it's almost non-existent. It's like a shooting star almost. It's like you're not going to run into
They say
Elon
the
Musk.
same thing about true love.
But you basically just answered the question by using Elon Musk.
What you mean by true love? No, go ahead.
Because that's not really realistic, and for most women.
There, I mean, I said one example, but there could be multiple different examples of men who maybe weren't as successful in their jobs, but had great plans and were working really hard on it and made significant improvements in their financial and success life. That was just an extreme example that I can think of.
Well, let me give yeah, exactly. Extreme. See, I like to tell women realistic examples because right now we have an influctuation of women running around the world with these extreme examples, and it's like I'm not settling for nothing but the extreme. But just statistically speaking, that's not even possible for all of y'all to get the extreme or the rare case, which is why it's rare. You have 90% of women saying, I want this 5% guy, and he has to be monogamous to me, and blah, 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 and he has to be 6 feet and this and that. Then when you look up the statistics, it's like these guys are almost non-existent. So how are all of y'all gonna land one? And then you or women like you tell them, don't settle until you get one. It's almost guaranteed that a high 80% of women is gonna end in failure.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Why do you care so much about like these women that are seeking to, I guess, in your opinion, wanting to date higher than, um, I don't know how to word it, but you know what I'm trying to say is like if a guy is trying to settle down and all these women are rejecting him because like they're not meeting the demand list of the women, like I guess my question is like why is that like a guy's problem? Like there's many different women that are wanting to settle down and don't have that demand list. So why only seeking those types of women Or
This is
the
why it's a
question?
lot of problems. I'm gonna speak specifically for my community, right? For the black community, because I really honestly I could care about what women as a whole are doing, but just specifically for my community, everything starts at home. So we're at the bottom of the totem pole economically, politically. We have like damn near no political power at all. We have the most spending power, but when it comes to politics and making changes for our community for the better, like funding schools or making communities more safe or providing jobs, we don't have any of that because we have these dysfunctional homes because the women are running around with that mindset right there, like, oh, I'm not settling unless I get Elon Musk or some crazy shit like that. So we have kids being raised by these women with this mindset that's causing the dysfunction in our communities, basically. Because
Like,
if you
what do you can you define, like, what do you mean by dysfunction?
dysfunction, like
Relationships is at the worst probably time and era right now when it comes to successful relationships. It's at an era where people ain't just looking for love no more. I should say, it's more about what you got and who you are. So these things come from certain expectations. And what I'm saying is, you can still have a great man, but don't define your great man just off his money. You might be a woman that can get millionaires, and your friend might be a woman that can get a man that's worth 200,000. That don't mean if both of y'all reach for the stars, you don't have the same thing. Especially if women are going off of beauty. Every woman don't look as good as X and Z. So I should just say you got to be realistic versus why you still shooting for the stars.
let me say what I mean by dysfunction as far as inmates, prisoners going to jail, single mother homes, suicides, single mother homes, drug addicts, single mother homes. Like literally every negative aspect of society, if you look at the root of it, it came from a single mother home statistically. And if you date it back to when the father was in the home, all of those rates dropped. When we had the most economic power, we had strong nuclear families. Not only that, the government now has more control over people than they have ever had, ever. They damn near can do anything. We seen what happened with COVID. I couldn't even believe they pulled it off. But why? Because when there's no family structure, people don't stand together. The women are standing with the government. So the men is like fighting the fight alone, damn near, where it was the women and the man against the government. The government couldn't just do anything they want to do. Look at right now with the Kellogg's situation. They got cereal damn near $10. And everybody going crazy right now saying, oh, we need to protest Kellogg's and XYZ. Shit like that wasn't happening back when we had families together. Just like the gas prices up damn near $10. Like if you look back in history, that type of thing was met with resistance when you had the man and the woman in the household on the same accord. But now you got the man over here on one accord. You got the women over here being spoon fed by the government. So they damn near pushing the same thing the government is pushing. So it's like a lose-lose for the public. But the women don't see this. That's why I have an issue with it, especially for my community.
Yeah, that definitely does make sense, and I 100% like understand that. But like also think like you mentioned, like technology and the way politics is run definitely plays a big factor. But statistically, if you look, divorce rates in the United States are way higher than like certain countries. Like I know, for example, like in Iran or India. Or I'm not saying that marriages over there are perfect. I'm just saying like based on what has happened in like relationships staying together or not. So I definitely do think like culturally, or the way we even label things like divorce is so becomes so normalized now that, like, I would expect, for me at least, like if my friend was like, if my friend was married and was telling me, oh, I want to get a divorce, I'd be like, why? Like, I'm trying to investigate and like make the situation work or improve it in a way. But I think these days, like like I would, like, I don't know, just like scenario wise, if you here in normal, like, generic culture, if someone says they're getting a divorce, their friend is like, okay, great, like, who's the next guy you want to see? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like culturally the way we paint having a good relationship or sticking together or working through challenges, because not every relationship is perfect. And I definitely do think that different communities and different ways technology plays a factor, and the idealism that is portrayed in the media definitely 100% plays a role. But I also think the way we just as a community we're interacting and building that social culture plays a major role.
But that's a part of the effects of the things he just basically broke down. This is what we say from not having realistic expectations. So if a woman is with a man and she has thinks that she deserves a man that's here, she's never going to coincide or be in harmony with the man she's with right now. If you like you said, you going to India or anywhere else, they're not thinking like that. That man that they have is the best that they feel. It don't matter who else comes or compares to that. In their mind, this is the greatest man in my eyes. So that's all that matters. It might be a little different out here in westernized culture, I should say. So
This is basically the problem, right? You have average women and below average women thinking that they deserve exceptional men or above average men. Like it just does not work that way. So the men that's on their level, they really believe I'm higher than him, even though they would be lucky to probably even land a guy on that level. Like you said, you lost 20 pounds, right?
Right.
Okay, so right now, maybe 20 pounds ago, the guys that you were looking at, like, you know what? We'll probably be good together. Now you lose those 20 pounds. Now you feeling like you above those guys, I would assume. Most of the women I know who went on a weight loss journey, they become like a whole nother woman as far as attitude wise than when they were bigger. They don't have that mindset where you were saying like, oh, well, I think he can lose weight with me, or I think he can get more money if he has plans. They like, nah, fuck that. I lost this 40 pounds. I'm looking snatched. I'm getting new attention. I need the guy that got the money now. That's why when you said, oh, well, long as he has the plans, I'll go for it. I don't believe that shit. I think you lying.
I think everybody's different, and as a community and as a culture, we should strive to know another individual's actual like personality and soul, because money can go like away in a minute. You could like something in your business could get wrong really bad. You could lose your like anything that you have materialistically. You can gain weight, you can lose weight. So I think the things that stay with you your entire life period is your personality, your soul, and your like the way you are as a human being. So even though I know there are some women out there that have those expectations, I think both men and women should get to know each other on a more personal level, like interpersonal level, and decide like how that's going to work out long term, because anything you have materialistically could be gone tomorrow essentially.
now I agree to an extent. I think it's a small percentage, but I just think that the maybe the 90% of the other women that we are referring to or bringing awareness about is clouding the ones that is. So shout out to the women that do deal with men for their characters, their morals, and their principles, because that's what it's going to boil down to. What type of man he is, like you say, that's climbing to be something. He might become something, and it is a lot of stories where men was in a position and he had a goal and a vision, and he became something, and those women regretted it later. The ones that end up leaving him. So, but majority of all are being infected by the women with unrealistic expectations, in my opinion.
I think majority of women today have unrealistic
You
expectations.
don't think men have unrealistic expectations of women?
Men know
No,
what bracket they
I
in.
think men know.
Men know.
Men know. You're seldom gonna catch a man that's broke, down on his luck, ain't got really no motion, ain't got shit going in life, shooting for the nines and the tens, and really believing I can keep her and start a family with her. He might try to shoot a pop shot from half court to get a lucky one night with her, but in his mind as a man, he knows for a fact I can't keep her. Women, on the other hand, they really truly believe, oh yeah, I can get this high value guy. Like you just sat here on the couch and said, I'm shooting for a high value guy. To me, I think that's insane.
Men can still get those women, but I just think once he gets her, then that clock start ticking to keep her. Because it's gonna be another man out here that's ready to trick on her and do all type of things. Now, it depends how long that woman's patience is with him. That I believe in my mind of him getting his shit together. Like you said, if he got a plan and she probably got resources to help him put his plan together, she might believe in that. But it's still gonna be rare to see that happen a lot because a man will get left quick.
I do think that I there's different circumstances, and you mentioned that shooting for the stars or wanting a high value man is unrealistic, but also you have to look at individuals like differently. Like what I was trying to say is that interpersonal connection and what is the root of the person or their soul is the most important thing. For example, if you look at like my specific life, I came from a different country, didn't spoke a word of English and came here to the United States. Not only like excelled so well in school and graduated amongst the top of my class, but also placed a national debate in college national debate and went along to do anything that was my weakest point. I made it my greatest strength. Basically, like if you look at like my weight loss journey, like before, I would say like 2 years ago, also, I had a situation that I wasn't like feeling so well, and I was able to lose 50 pounds in 3 month period. And I have like the pictures on my Instagram and everything, and different regimens that I was doing. So honestly, like anything when it comes to school, academics, job, the way you have your self-esteem and your fitness journey, anything can be like achievable if you have the correct mindset. So given that I have all these weaknesses that I was able to excel at, I think reaching for a high value man is 100% possible for
I
me.
think it's impossible.
Why?
Honestly, I think it's impossible. One, yeah, you lost a lot of weight, but realistically speaking, you're still technically out of shape. If we were to line you up with women that's in the top percentiles, I'm talking like 1 to 10. If we put you in line with the 10s, you're going to be invisible.
So you think a high value man, the number one thing they look at is
Number
their
one,
weight?
number one
Because
thing,
that's what you named.
no, number one thing is going to start with the looks. We're not having a conversation if you don't pass the physical checklist because men are physical. So the first thing we even going to look at, we're going to look at the physical. We're going to look at the beauty and we're going to look at the weight factor. And the weight factor matters because, hey, I'm going to want you to have some kids. We talking about high value men with companies and empires, and they trying to pass down and pass down their bloodline. So I'm going to look at you and go, damn, she already out of shape. If she have one kid, let's say she gained 20 pounds, she lose 10 pounds, that other 10 pounds is still going to be on her. So if I want 3 kids, I'm looking at you right now plus 30 more pounds from baby weight that you ain't going to be able to kick or get rid of. It's like, nah, you're cooked already. I
Okay,
can go
so
get
that's
her.
okay.
She's already you lost from the look aspect and the physical aspect. So already you're done. Now I'm going to go, okay, cool. She's bipolar, schizophrenic. Automatically, as if I'm a high value man, you're done right there too. Not to throw a shot at you for that, but if I'm just comparing you to the competition, I'm going to get a woman that's not bipolar or schizophrenic. Not saying you can't get a man because you absolutely can, but I think you shooting for a high value man, I think you're beyond delusional.
So those criteria that you're mentioning is the way you would evaluate
Fit,
essentially? Okay.
feminine, submissive.
In
That's
that
where it
particular
starts.
order?
Yeah, that's fit
Okay.
for sure. So it'll go beauty and fitness. That's number one. Because when I enter a room, that's the first thing I see as a man. I don't know your personality. I don't know anything you accomplished in life, like all the goals and everything that you mentioned. Everything you mentioned, honestly, as a man, I don't give a fuck about. I don't care about you being on a debate team. I don't care about you getting a degree.
Then you're not a
none
high
of
value
that.
man.
No, listen.
A high
None
value
of that
man
helps me.
will not look at looks first because looks can be gone. But things that you have in your soul and your mind is gonna stay for your entire
So
lifetime.
you think we don't care about looks?
You said the number one thing is
The
looks.
number one
Let me tell
thing
you.
that's gonna get you in the door is your looks.
You said a high value man.
But you partially right. Looks is what attracts the man to you, but your soul and your mind frame is what's gonna make him want to keep you. So, but initially he's gonna look at you first, and then he's gonna want to even take that time to get to know your mind and the rest of
We
you.
weren't talking about initials though. We were talking about having a relationship that would like you would have kids with. And if you as a man, the number one thing you look at is looks, I'm sorry, you're not a high value man.
How are you? Okay, but you're a woman telling men what makes us high value. You don't get to decide that. You're trying to get the men.
You just defined what a high value woman is. So why can't I define what a high value man is?
Because there's certain criteria and the market decides what it is. So if you look at the
So
market,
you're the market. Like I guess who is a deciding factor? Because
the
you
men
just
that
gave
you
away
want is the market.
four different like in order looks like all these scenarios of in a particular order of what makes the high value woman. But if I were to say, okay, like
okay,
these are top,
name someone that
Okay.
name someone notable that you would consider a high value man.
I don't want to name a specific person because that would be considered an extremist example. If I
No,
were
just
to say.
just anybody. It could be extreme, it could be whatever.
I would say somebody that is able to make good income, that is
What's good
stable.
income?
It depends on like where you're living at, like what you're looking at,
We're
or
in California. What would be good income here?
I would say $1 million.
$1 million. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So name someone notable that you know in the public that has $1 million income.
I don't want to put specific names to my scenario, but what I want to go back to is you were naming specific categories of what would make a high value woman. And if I were to say, oh,
If
I don't
we
think that
look,
would make you a high value man.
if we
And what
look,
is, I keep trying to make this point and you keep
I know because
interrupting.
you're ducking the question. I was trying to use an example and let you name the guy. But since you don't want to name the guy, let's just put it this way. If we look at any notable man that we can look up publicly that makes $1 million income, does he have overweight, schizophrenic, bipolar women who caught a felony charge at 21 around him?
You
What type
didn't
of
name a
women?
specific woman. I was wanting to go off of
No,
your
I'm just
list.
saying if we're using
Right.
you as an example right now, because you said you're shooting for this guy. So I'm gonna put you in comparison with the women that's around these type of guys. Are you the type of woman that's typically around these areas that
Right.
frequent
So
these
you were
guys?
describing me and then saying a high value man will look at these different categories. And what I was trying to point at is that one, you're not a high value man. Two, there are different categories that I would think that would define a high value woman or men that are different than yours. And obviously every person's different. So this definition is going to be different person to person. But given the fact that you just defined the best woman, high value, the number one thing is looks, is just pretty darn.
Define a high value man. What makes a man high value?
Okay. Number one thing is going to be their personality and their thrive. How are they doing in their life? It doesn't have to be a specific number of how many cents or dollars they're bringing down on a paycheck. It's how they're putting their work in and how they're able to improve and become successful in the future. Like if I'm dating someone who's 23, I don't expect them to be running a company and be a CEO. But if they're working their way up and have those significant ambitions and we're able to demonstrate that in their like earlier schools, like obviously that plays a factor. So number one is gonna be their thrive, their personality, the way they're able to show themselves as a human being and their soul. Second is gonna be their spirituality, the way they are viewing life. I want somebody that is like kind or have some kind of empathy. I think that comes way before looks. Because if you were to see a girl, let's say she's a 10 and she has a lot of money, but she is like just absolutely rude and is not able to have any intelligent conversation. In your categories, she might be considered a high value woman, which beats the system.
No,
in
I
a
said one. I said that's where it starts. Two, high value money is involved. There's no 23-year-old college student with aspirations that's a high value man at all. You have to actually have the money. You have to actually be able to provide the lifestyle. So yes, you can have goals, you can have aspirations that can make you a great human, that can make you ambitious in everything you're naming, but it doesn't make you high value. Just like you can be a great
I'll
woman.
give you a second chance.
No, listen, just
I'll
like
give you a second chance.
you can't give me no
Redefine your
chances.
categories.
I'm
What
being
comes
nice.
first?
No,
of
I'm telling
becoming
you
a
what comes
high-value
first.
woman?
Beauty and
You
fitness.
just said it again.
Listen, this is what comes
So
first.
someone who's a 10 who has literally the worst
Beauty.
personality.
Listen, hold
is
on, hold
a
on, hold on, hold
high-value
on, hold on,
woman?
hold on. Because this is what y'all do. When we start to name these type of women and you're not that woman, you start to try to attack them and go, well, what if she's
Haven't
an heir?
named a single woman.
No, listen.
So I
What you're
don't know
trying to
saying.
do is tear down this woman that I'm describing and say, well, what if she has no personality?
No, I'm
or what
tearing
if
down
she's
the
an
system you
airhead?
built. Your system.
I didn't build
isn't-
this system.
No, the system that you define of what.
Okay,
a
listen,
high-value
everything
man
that you are, you think there's no beautiful women out there that have everything that you have, plus the beauty and the fitness? You think they're all
There
airheads
are. They
with
do
no
exist.
personality?
I'm just saying that there's different categories that should be more important than looks.
To who?
And the fact that
Hold
you're
on, to
defining.
who? As a woman, because you don't have that. So you, of course, you don't want it to be important. If there's women outside that's more beautiful than you with a better body than you, if I'm picking between you and her and I get to decide, okay, do I want to see what her personality is like or her personality is like? Automatically you lose. So in your defense, you have to say, oh, that makes you shallow. That makes you this. That makes you that. That would be like someone that has no money attacking a man who built himself up to be high value, who's earning that millions of dollars, and saying, oh, well, he ain't shit. What if he ain't got no personality? Or what if he's abusive? What if
Look,
he's this?
I'm not
What
the
if he's
hottest
that?
woman out there, and there's many different women that are way more intelligent and successful than me.
Right.
Right. The reason why I was trying to make that point is that the way you defined a high value woman is critically flawed. The system. I didn't tear down a singular woman. I attacked your specific
Tell me what's
arguments
flawed about it.
because
Men
you said
care
that
about looks.
the number
are
one
physical
thing is should not be
creatures.
looks.
The number one thing that a man is going to look for first before we get to anything else is the looks. If you don't look the part, we're never going to speak to even find out anything else. You can be the best female on the planet. You can have the best personality. You can be the most caring, the most loving. You can be all of that. But if you don't look the part, I'm never going to know because we're never going to talk to find that out.
Right. Like looks are important, but I'm just saying the number one thing that you would say is a high value woman is flawed. And for those of you watching, like, what do you think? Like, because it really is context specific. And the fact that you say a high value woman, the number one thing is going to be their looks just proves the point that you're not a high value man. Because I think a high value man would think long term. They don't think, oh my gosh, she looks
Listen to what
gorgeous.
you said, though. You said what starts. You said name the first thing. Nowhere did I say looks and looks only. I said
No,
by
I said the number one thing.
right.
So you
There's
so
a cat.
you-
There's cat. No, there's a list of things. You can put them in whatever order
I know.
you
I just
want.
said what is the number one thing that is the most important thing that would make you a high value
Right
woman?
now,
You said the look.
me looking at you right now, your fitness, you're done. It would be impossible for you to be considered high value because you're not fit. You're not physically fit.
I never said that I was a 10 or
I
the
know.
most
Listen,
gorgeous woman on
this is
planet
what
Earth.
this is.
And
But
I keep
listen, hold
thinking-
on,
okay.
because I'm not attacking you. We just speaking realistic now. It
I
starts.
think we should.
It starts
Yeah.
with looks. Okay, she's beautiful. She's fit. Because people who are not fit, that gives off character traits. That gives off you have no discipline. You can't control how much food you decide to put in your mouth. You have lack of control. When I see a person that's not fit, I'm already looking, okay, they have no discipline. They have no self-control. That's not someone I want raising my kids. So all of those things start to go into my mind. It's not just, oh my God, she's beautiful and I want to fuck her. No, it's deeper than that. It's like, how is she as a woman knowing that her beauty and her fitness is her currency out here, but she does not have the self-discipline enough to stop eating and putting bullshit in her mouth to be fit? She has no, that's how I'm viewing it.
Let me say
Okay.
one thing. Look, looks is not just the bottom line distinguishing factor. Now,
I just asked for the number one.
I know,
Yeah.
but 9 times out of 10, that goes with anybody. Looks matter. People say they don't, but that's a lie. Looks do matter. But
I
you,
do
but
think it's matter,
you
but
might.
it's not the number
let me
one
But let
thing.
me tell you, just listen. If you find a 7 and a 10, but the 7 she's hot, the 10 is hotter, but the 7 personality is better. Yes, the 7 might outweigh the 10 by just looks wise. So it does make a difference as you get to know a woman. But like he said, initially, if I just look at y'all and had to choose, I'm going to choose the woman that looks better first and then put my time and energy to get to know her personality and her mind. So you saying looks don't matter, we understand that part, but it does matter. The same way your looks is your currency, and for a man, his money is his currency in today's dating market. That's how a lot of women look at it. Now, it might be exceptions to those rules on both ends. You might view it and be the exception that does not care about that. But
No, I never said looks don't matter. I just said the
talking
number
about
one
money
thing
for
that
a
would
man.
make you, or money, that could be another thing for men. But I'm not a man and I'm not a high value man. But I do believe truly that if a high value man was looking to seek a partner, the number one thing they would look is not how they look. They will want
How
a
many
woman
high
that is
value men
beautiful.
are you around?
They want a woman
Hold on. How
that
many
is-
high value men are you around? How many high value men are approaching you?
I'm not speaking on that matter because
No.
I'm not
I'm
looking-
asking a
looking
direct.
to
No,
date.
I'm asking a direct
not
question.
looking to
Okay,
date
even
right
though
at the
you're not
moment.
looking to date, high value women that's not looking to date, high value men are still approaching them, and they have to tell them, "Oh, sorry, I'm not looking to date." So on a day to day, how many high value men that you're describing are approaching you to date?
There's
How many of these men are you talking to?
I'm not trying to talk to men.
I know you're not trying to talk to men, but how many high value men are approaching you? You would know how many.
Where would they like? I mean,
Men
Hold on,
approach you
hold on.
every day,
I don't
right?
even like. There's different.
Look, just the
scenarios.
fact that you said, where are these guys at? That lets me know they're not approaching you. A high value woman, if you would ask a high value woman
any
this,
guy that would want to have a relationship with me, I don't even try to investigate. Like,
But
oh
listen.
my gosh, like how much money are you making? Like, what's your job or anything like that? I'm not even. Like,
did you investigate us?
No,
Okay, but you automatically said you're not a high value man. How would you know that? How much money
because
do
you
I earn
said
annually?
the number one thing that you would say is looks. A high value man would want a woman that can last a lifetime. Maybe there's a woman that is a 10, but is
Where
about to
did you
become
get this
very
info? Hold
ugly
on. Where
in 2
did you
years.
get this information? If you're not talking to any high value men, you don't know any high value men.
A high
You have
value
not-
man is
listen,
somebody
you have
that has
not
a
come in
lasting
contact-
relationship. They don't want
No,
to just
listen. You
break
have not
up
come
after
in
2
contact with any high value men, but you're sitting here on the couch telling us and telling the audience
I'm
what a
around
high
high
value
value men
man
all the
wants.
time. My father is a high value man. My grandfather is a high value
In
man.
your
Everybody
eyes.
in my family, in my eyes, are all high value men.
No, keyword in your eyes, but what things look like in your eyes is your reality. It's not the reality. So if I'm a regular average Joe making 40,000 a year, my wife can feel like I'm a high value man. But lined up against real high value men, I'm not. I could just be a great guy and a great husband. That doesn't make you high
Okay,
value.
that means that in your eyes, then you think that I'm not a high value woman or don't have the potential to be looking that great.
I would
Because
say by
honestly, it is literally impossible for me to be losing like that significant amount of weight
this is
in one day.
But
It's just impossible.
This is circling exactly back to the point that I was getting at that you are even explaining right now about being realistic. And that's all I'm saying is high value can be high value for you. So realistically, women don't need to be expecting, like he just said, these certain men. This man can still be high value in your eyes, and that's all that should matter at the end of the day. Is he able to make you feel the way you need to feel and stop trying to go for the man that's with the millions, because everybody not getting the man with the millions. And you ask, was men more realistic about that? Men are more realistic. They know if they get their money up, they do this, they do that, they have their action at any type of woman. A man and women don't have that same type of, what I'll say, vision when it comes to the dating scene. That's why I said the dating scene is where it's at, because women are unrealistically going for men that they're not going to be able to keep.
This is what women don't understand. The market sets the price, not you. You can feel however you want, but when you step out on the market, what is the market showing you? I can go to Lamborghini right now and go, man, this car ain't worth 150,000. You need to set the price at 50,000. I think it's worth 50,000. Guess what? If I don't have 150,000, I'm not getting that car. So you can sit here and talking to you blue in the face and say, looks shouldn't matter. You're shallow if looks, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? If you don't have the looks, you're still not getting that guy. So what use is it in arguing the way you feel instead of, okay, this is what the market is saying. Let me try to adapt to the market so I can get chose. Because no matter how much y'all fight and argue and try to tell men and try to finesse us into believing how y'all think, we're never going to think how you think. If you want the guy that you're aspiring to get, you have to get on his program and meet his standards. And I'm telling you, as a man, beauty matters. Your fitness
It does matter.
absolutely
but it is
matters.
not the number one thing.
That's the
And
number
women,
one
you
thing
should
that
have
gets you
high
in the
standards.
door. First of all, you have to meet the standards. You can't say have high standards if you're not walking high standards. So if I'm a man and I'm comparing you
It's
to
not a
women on
today
the
thing.
market,
It's
no,
a long-term
right.
thing. Marriage is not just a one-day thing. It's
Right.
a lasting
But
relationship.
as of right now, you're not getting in the door to date to even potentially be married because you're not meeting those standards now. You going off of, well, just believe me. I got a plan. I don't give a fuck if you got a plan. Can you execute? Everybody in the world got a plan.
Yeah.
Not everybody
in the
can
past
execute.
2 months, I've been intermittent fasting, eating 1 meal a day. I'm in the gym 2 hours per day, and I have proven track results for the past 2 months. So with the path that I'm going right now, you should look at me in 3 months. Now, a high value man would see that and see, wow, 2 months and the significant improvements she's done. Obviously, she's on the right path. And in the next few months, she'll be really great. And marriage is not something that is on that day. it's a lasting relationship for years.
You know
And
what we're
that's why
gonna
I
see?
think personality and the thrive in the soul of a person should be the number one thing, because looks, you are gonna get old. Everybody's gonna get
Okay, that's
old.
cool. That's cool. So if you had the best personality in the world, but you stayed in the body that you was 40 pounds ago, do you believe you would attract a high value man with that body?
I don't think there's a such thing as a best personality in the world. It's the way those interpersonal relationships work and are able to intermingle in a like a cohesive like relationship.
If you had one of the best personalities in the world, but that body you had 40 pounds ago, do you believe you would attract these men that you're talking about? Or are you losing weight to attempt to attract these men?
I don't think the question of attraction is the question. The question should be staying
No,
together in a
not what the
long
question
lasting
should be. Answer the direct
relationship.
question, because I don't want to know what it should be. I'm asking a direct question. If you had one of the best personalities, but you were stuck in the body you had 40 pounds ago forever, do you believe you would be attracting these guys we're speaking of?
Maybe on that 24 hours, no, but maybe in 5 months, yes. So I think
How long did you have that body?
it's gonna like take a longer time period to
From
be able
from
to
what
adjust.
age? From what age did you have that? From fuck that. From that age till now, how many of these guys have approached you?
I don't keep count.
None,
Sorry.
right? None, right?
No, because there were so many I couldn't even keep count.
All right, listen. You gave Elon Musk as an example. Do you think Elon Musk, when he started, was considered a high value man?
Like by
From
your
ground
by
zero.
your by your definition, ground like before like all these companies blew up, no, he wouldn't be considered a high value man. But look at it today. That's the point I was trying
He
to
had to
make.
become a high value man. That's the whole point. But the difference is with women, y'all currency off y'all looks already keeps y'all there. Men have to become that. We have to grow into these to
Right.
become
And
a
it's
high
not like
value
I'm gonna
man.
wake up tomorrow and like or the day after someone is gonna wake up one day and like, oh my gosh, high value woman. No, it's a work in progress.
But
like
do you realize that there are women out here who are already what you're trying to be? And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. You lose automatically right now because they're already there. I don't
that's
have
fine.
to.
I'm
I
not
don't have
looking
to
get married in
right.
the next 24
But
hours.
what I'm
like,
saying is these guys aren't everywhere. So you're telling women shoot for the stars, but you're not even the woman that these guys are looking for. Like right now, currently.
there's millions,
That's why he
trillions
said
of people on the planet.
right,
I'm not
but there's
looking
not
to
millions
like
and
get on a
trillions of high
relationship
value.
today.
There's not millions and trillions of high value people. They're very rare, which is why he said most of you women have unrealistic standards and unrealistic
Women have
expectations.
your expectations high. Men work harder.
Okay,
Why
cool.
not?
So for the women who would take her advice, I'm gonna ask you one question. Would you want to exchange places with her? If I could snap my finger right now and you would live her life and be her, would you want to trade? If not, you shouldn't take advice from those people. You should only take advice from people whose shoes you would want to trade. Like Elon Musk, he can give advice. Like, damn, I would trade and be Elon Musk. Most people would.
A
But if
singular
you-
the singular incident or a mistake doesn't define a person.
It doesn't. But what I'm saying is
And I'm
you're
23.
giving,
You should look at me in 5 or 10 years and then make that kind of
you
judgment.
know your value goes down the older you get. So right now,
No, I don't believe that.
no, listen, right now at 23,
value doesn't go down when you have more experience and more success in your future. I think value
for
goes
women,
up.
it does. Men want women with less experience, less life experience,
By
less baggage,
experience,
less
I
mileage.
mean like experience in like work or career or school, to be clear.
Right. We want women with less of that because as you work and you start to pay bills, you start to become hardened and bitter from the world. You just said, hey, California is high as hell. I don't want to live out here. I'll come visit, but I'm going to go back to Dallas because it's easier. So you're literally proving my point. So imagine that I met you at 23 right now, before you had to live on your own, pay all your bills, blah, blah, blah. 10 years from now, you living out here, what type of woman you think you would be? Paying these type of bills by yourself. Do you think you would still be the same joyous 23-year-old or would you be a more hardened 28-year-old?
I think I'll be a really successful woman in 10 years. Not only would I have completed my school and had a PhD, but also I aspire to have businesses and be successful financially. By that time, I would be more in tune with my fitness routine, which is going to take only a few more months. So we're talking 10 years. So by that point, not only have I not only do I number one thing have my soul, my passion, and the way I interact with people and kindness, but also I'm able to, by that time, 10 years is a really long time. I can have those successes in my career, my education, my
Ladies,
looks.
hold on, let me cut you. Ladies, notice how she keeps saying my career and my education. Most women bank their value on their career and their education, not knowing these high value men that she's shooting for doesn't give a fuck about any of that. They don't care about any of that. In fact,
Men
if you've been looking up
100%
stats,
care about
if you've been looking up
education.
stats, 57% of college graduates right now are working jobs that require no college degree. They're actually working high school entry level jobs. Their degrees are essentially useless. Not only that, AI is starting to take over a lot of industries, whereas a lot of jobs are getting rid of the requirement for even needing a college degree. A college degree is becoming damn near worthless, and women are shaping their whole worth around something that's damn near worthless, especially to men. If this guy's making $1 million plus a year, what do I care about your college degree?
What lasts
How
longer,
does that help me?
knowledge or your looks? You'll get old. You'll be able to there's ways that
I
your
got you,
body
Solomon.
can change, but
This is look, we got to wrap
your
it up.
education lasts.
This is a
lifetime.
tall, listen, in 10 years, you'll see where she ends up. But to the women who are listening and wants to take advice from someone who's trying to help you and not crash you, listen to the market. Listen to what the men are telling you we look for, not how you feel. Oh, I think you should look for this. I think that makes you shallow. You can think whatever the fuck you want. But reality is reality. The same way she said, well, I want a taller guy. I want a successful guy. I want this guy. You would be a fool to be the shorter guy, the guy with no money, the guy with no success, and try to argue her down into accepting you. You would be better off just going to become that guy. And then you would be able to get the woman. Arguing against what the market wants is never going to get you the results. So you can sit here and talk to you blue in the face about how you don't like what men value and this and that. Guess what, ladies? This is what we value. We're telling you, this is 2024, the age of information. You can look all across the web. You have thousands and thousands and thousands of men saying the same thing. And then you have the women who are listening and they're succeeding and thriving. Or you have the hard-headed women who got to learn the hard way. She's 23. She has almost no real life experience, but she's telling women how to gain a high-value man, yet she doesn't know any, doesn't talk to any, doesn't attract any. That is ludicrous. That is insanity. But you got any final words?
Nah, bars, man. Go ahead. We got to get up out of here. It's a wrap, man. This was a good one. We appreciate you again for coming on here. He wasn't here to judge you. I hope you ain't feeling no type of way.
No, we ain't.
No, like
It's
No,
all
she
love.
started firing the
All
pop
love.
shots.
Nah, I
It's
already
cool.
know. I peeped it.
No,
But
it
listen.
was a really I loved the conversation. It was really good, and different viewpoints is really important to address because everybody has different perspectives and the way they view the world. So I think having this genuine conversation actually solves the root problems of what we discuss because the way we interact and the way relationships people are portrayed in the social media is the deciding factor of those challenges that you discuss within the dysfunction. So I think what we did today is actually in a progressive way improving
But for
society.
sure, we're definitely here to try and help. So everything we're saying, think of it from the other person's viewpoint. Try to put yourself in men's shoes. Don't look at it from the lens of a woman because we have two different brains. We value two different things. So the fact that she's arguing so hard against what we value, I'm telling you right now, that's a losing battle. That's a battle you're never ever gonna win. You are better off learning what you want to get and what you want to gain. It's like a job. Job has job requirements, right? She went to college to get a degree, to get the career she wants. Did she show up at the career she wanted and said, I think it's bullshit I got to get that degree. I should get the job right now. No, her ass went to school. She went and got the degree. She's taking the steps to get the job and earn the job. Men are the same way. Women are the same way. You have to take the correct steps to get what you want. You can't just show up at the job and say, hire me. You have to put in the work and meet the criteria.
Right.
Nah, go ahead, dude.
Or I was just trying to say I'm not trying to keep you out longer and we would probably debate for until midnight. So Just wanted to thank y'all for bringing me on board, and anybody who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. And yeah, would love to hear from y'all.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna definitely stay in touch. Keep going on your weight loss journey. I do want to commend you for that. We do promote fitness, so I gonna salute you for that. You know what I'm saying? Even though you say you got a long way to go, stay on that journey. I hope to see you in 5 months and you lost 40 more pounds. I'm rooting for you. All I'm saying is really sit back and analyze what we said today, and hopefully you learn from it. Because I want to see you succeed. It does me no good seeing you crash and lose. But that's what women are doing today. And we have the platform to try and put an end to that, which is why we come week in and week out and trying to give y'all the advice to win, because the majority of people, they want to see you lose subconsciously. They want to see you lose. I genuinely want to see us win. So hopefully you take the advice and you run with it. If not, we'll see where you end up.
Okay. Yeah.
The viral way.
Easy.
Ain't no handouts, I did it from the ground up. In the streets, thugging hardest where they found us. Got a problem, nigga, watch my troopers mount up. My bitches bang too, and you a lame though. You niggas ain't outside, yeah, we came through. You want your lights up, we put you on the shade.